Sponsored by ginandtonically.com for all your gin and tonically needs.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman, and today, my friends, we have a rather popular gin that has been requested by many of my subscribers. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Gin Mare. Gin Mare or Mare or Mare? I don't know what it's called, but let's call it Gin Mare for the purposes of this video. But before we start, thank you as always to my beautiful, wonderful and talented and very lovely sponsors, ginandtonically.com, and an even bigger thank you to yet another one of my subscribers who has become one of my patrons, Mr. Ethan Frank. You are a gentleman, sir, and I salute you. Now, I am a little bit disappointed because for some reason I thought this gin was from France, which would have been wonderful because it would have meant I would get to do my outrageous French accent. However, on closer inspection, it turns out that it's actually from Spain. It's not far from France. It's on that sort of Mediterranean coastline there. But unfortunately, I can't do a Spanish accent. So for anyone expecting the Spanish accent, I'm sorry about that, but you just have to put up with my normal, dull, mundane British tones. Drinking Gin Mare will transport you to our coast at the height of summer. With its eternal blue sky, its characteristic scent of rosemary, basil and thyme, the sea breeze on your skin. Gin Mare is made using the traditional techniques from the Mediterranean. Now listen to these botanicals, okay? You've got the usual lovely things like orange and lemon, which I always say are excellent, and citrus, citrus always works well in the gin. They've also got the coriander and obviously juniper berries and the green cardamom, but they've also got a few, it's quite herb heavy in here. So you've got olives, which I know is not a herb. Well, I don't think so anyway. Anyway, these are certainly herbs. It's got basil and it's got rosemary and it's got thyme. Now that seems quite herb heavy if you ask me, but who knows, it may well work if they balance those flavours. Now I feel a bit bad for not doing the accent because we always like to have a bit of fun doing that. So instead, as a sort of a rather humorous alternative, here's an outtake from last week when I was preparing for the show and I whacked my elbow on the edge of the table. Oh! I suffer for your entertainment. So my friends, let us fanny around no more, let's crack on. So as you can see, I've just got a tasting bottle here, so it's rather smaller than the one you would buy in the shops. I must say it is rather a beautiful bottle. I mean, this one's quite nice, but the one in the shops is even nicer. So let's have a little sniff. Let's get it in my lovely old gin glass. In you go, old son. Right then, let's have a sniff. Oh, man alive. That is a heady, rich, sort of emboldened sort of taste. I don't know if that's even the right word or not, but it kind of, I feel like it is, so I'm going to stick with it. But it's rich and it is herby, but it's got a freshness and fruitiness to it as well, which I like. It doesn't feel sort of overbalanced one way. So let us not dither about anymore, my friends. Let us marry it up with the tonic and get it in the old mouth, shall we? So, my friends, here we go. Gin Mare, all the way from Spain. Cheers. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that's not what I was well, it kind of was what I was expecting, but it wasn't what I was hoping for, if I'm absolutely honest. It's, yeah, oh, blimey, I nearly knocked it over there. I talked about the herbs just now. I'm getting tons and tons of basil in there, like a real kind of, it's kind of a harsh herbiness to it. I'm getting that a lot more than any of the citruses, if I'm absolutely honest. It's kind of a sharp taste and very, very piney. Now, I know a lot of gins do have pine, and sometimes when it's in there, it can be sort of good if you sort of balance the flavours with it. Personally, I find that a bit too sort of greeny, basil-y, piney sort of taste. It's a bit sharp. I think it's kind of overpowering the other flavours a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of those zesty lemon flavours. They're definitely in there, but I feel like they're being kind of drowned out and smothered a little bit by that, as I say, that green sort of basil sharpness in there, which is a shame, really. And it's interesting because This is a really popular gin. A lot of people have recommended this. And this is what I would call a mainstream gin as well. You see this a lot. It's pretty much in everywhere, every shop you go to and get gin, you'll see it there. And certainly in any sort of half-decent stocked gin bar as well. And as I say, it is very popular. But personally, it's not really giving me what I look for in a gin. Again, this is just subjective, okay? This is just my opinion. I'm sure people will disagree with me and will let me know. They always let me know in the section below. The one thing I do like about it, it's got a nice bit of a kick to it, which I do like. I like to have gin with balls, you know, and it's not overly strong. It's 42.7%, but it kind of tastes like it's a little one of those ones a little bit stronger, and I do like that. I think it's always nice to have something. You need to know what you're drinking something alcoholic, otherwise what's the point? But yeah, generally overall, I'm afraid, my friends, that's not really going to be one for me. It's a shame, as I say, and please disagree with me and let me know if you do disagree. But I'm not a fan of the old Gin Mare, I'm afraid, today. Now then, put the taste aside, okay? What's it going to cost you? That's what you're thinking to yourself. What is this gin going to set me back if I try it? And there is a reason I bought this sort of rather smaller bottle here. And that, my friends, is it's not particularly cheap. In fact, it's a little bit pricey. This one's going to, if you buy the sort of full set of 70cl bottle, it's around about, it varies, but it's around about an average of about £35, which is about $43 and works out at about 38 euros. And to me, I don't mind doing it, as I've said before, to support the smaller distilleries, those sort of little independent places that are lesser known and people don't really know and they can't produce that much. However, I mean, I don't know how big their distillery is, but I do know, as I say, I consider this one of the sort of the lower mainstream gins. As I say, it's available most places, and it's a pretty famous gin, I would say. It's certainly in all the supermarkets. So I think that is a little bit on the pricey side, personally. So, my friends, my top tip today, if you think you might like a nice sort of herbaceous, green, piney gin with a bit less on the citrus side, then bloody well go for your life and tell me that I am an ignoramus. Otherwise, perhaps maybe go for something else, but certainly give it a go and let me know what you think. So, my friends, not the usual sort of video where I'm full of sort of frivolity. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not, but we'll go with it anyway. But as I always say, I have to be honest with you. You know, if I like a gin, I like it, but if I'm not that sure, I'm going to tell you. Otherwise, what's the point in me being here? But of course, I will be back next time with another gin for you. I don't know what it is yet because I haven't decided myself. But in the meantime, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the like button. And if you want to support my channel like good old Ethan Frank, then please head over to my Patreon page as well, where you can become a channel supporter. And thank you again to my wonderful sponsors, ginandtonically.com. But until next time, guys, stay safe, don't have nightmares, and keep drinking the gin.